it's this. It's funny. We were gonna lead with Texas Tech. We'll get to Texas Tech, but this conversation about the quality of the Big-10, I think this really matters. And maybe in the parlance of the jobs that are open, obviously we're talking about Epstein Island needing to hire a coach. With the job at Penn State open, if the job at Michigan opens, what's a better job, Jake?
I mean, I would probably go
You
Michigan.
hesitated. God damn it, you hesitated?
Well, yeah, I mean, you fostered an environment of cheating, to win a national championship.
Wow.
I mean, I definitely think that that's part of the equation. I mean, neither of these two would be my first choice. But I mean, if we're just comparing them, I mean, yeah, Michigan's probably slightly more iconic. But I think that if you look at the winning record over the last 10 years, Penn State has the edge. I think, especially if you're somebody who lives in reality and puts an asterisk next to that national championship with everything that went down.
Lives in reality.
Yeah, and so to me, I mean, I would probably have Penn State over Michigan just program to program. But, the hard part is then I got to go to, okay, well, there's a reason we call it Epstein U and Petterass Island and, Cock on Thigh and all those names.
Does the Paterno stain weigh down the Penn State job?
I mean, it has to on some level, man. I mean, you once you choose to work there, I mean, it's just it's cheating to win a national championship is different than abusing kids, dude.
I think the Penn State job is significantly below Michigan. And I don't say that lightly because I think Michigan is a gaggle of scumbags. Honest to God, I think as long as Ward Manuel is the athletic director there, and as I affectionately call him, Jabba the Manual, as long as Jabba the Manual is the athletic director there, you're a bunch of scumbags with no moral compass or ethics. I personally would never go work for Ward Manuel. I would not. I think that's why the Penn State job would be the better hire right now. I also think with what's going on with the cheating thing, I think is a big deal to anybody in the Big-10. I think that's a big deal. Would Michigan have a hard time hiring a coach? No, they would not. I think this whole conversation about what is a good job, what is a bad job, there's not a bad job in college football for a guy that's a college football coach. You're getting paid at Michigan and at Penn State. Where can you win a national championship right now? I think both of them have an equal opportunity to win a national championship. I think the problem is you right now at Michigan, you're going to lose a bunch of dudes. I think there is real momentum for Bryce Underwood to get in the portal. I think he is checked out. I think he is frustrated with the coaching he's getting. And I think that if Bryce Underwood leaves Michigan, Sharon Moore, who could be a dead man walking already, I don't know, but Sharon Moore certainly would be out at Michigan because this would be one of the horrendous flops that we have ever, certainly in the portal era. But I think in the short time that Sharon Moore has been employed at Michigan, I think he has done significant damage to the quality of that football program.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, but again, he's just the fall guy. I mean, again, I think the person responsible is who hired Jim Harbaugh and the person that looked the other way as soon as they found out, because that absolutely happened. And I just think that it's a situation where, there has to be some sort of, factor ingredient in this conversation of Michigan put themselves in this position. Michigan wanted to give immunity to Jim Harbaugh, right? Like Michigan wanted to do these things. So if we're talking about quality of job, I mean, that matters to me. Everyone wants to look at the Big House and be like, oh, it's a great stadium to coach in. Cool. There's a lot of great stadiums to coach in. It's not just about the stadium. And I think that's the hard part is that, yeah, if you go and win at Michigan, you're a college football legend, no doubt. Like that'd be a huge accomplishment. But
Can
at
you
the
say
same
that
time,
about Penn State?
Yeah, I mean, they haven't won. How long has it been since they won?
But if you go to Penn State and you win a national championship, are you Are you an all-timer? Are you what are
I
you?
mean, I don't
I
think it
don't know
has as
what you
much aura, if you will, as winning in Michigan. I think Michigan, the brand itself, has a lot more swag than Penn State has. That's for sure. But I don't know. It really comes down on like morals and ethics at the end of the day. It comes down to what you're willing to accept and what you're not willing to accept, and how you look at those things. I mean, if you're someone that says, "Hey, the Paterno stuff happened when it happened. I had nothing to do with that." I'm a football coach looking to further my career. Penn State's available. I'm definitely going to take that. I can respect that. At the same time, though, I'm also going to ask you the question about how you view what happened. I'm also going to be, that you have to be willing to talk about those things if it comes up. So I just think that both of these jobs have baggage right now. I think Penn State is the best available job currently, but I think
Mhm.
obviously it goes without saying there's going to be a lot more jobs that come open here in the next probably
So
6 months.
Penn State's better than UCLA,
Hmm.
right?
I would agree with that. Yeah.
I think we all agree with that.
Yeah.
Um, I think if I look at my list of the open jobs, Penn State far and away number one. I think Stanford is number two. I think with Andrew Luck there, the money they just got, they have the ability to recruit and attract kids because I think those kids want an education. I think Stanford's the second best job open. I would rate, and then it comes down to Arkansas for the third best job open. Arkansas, UCLA, and I really don't know, and I'm going to be such a jerk. Is Virginia Tech a good job?
Depends who the
Historic,
candidate is.
yeah,
Yeah.
historically
Depends who
they
the
haven't
candidate is.
won,
Yeah.
right? Historically they've not won. And I look at where Virginia Tech sits. Virginia Tech is largely irrelevant in college football at this moment. And I think that makes it difficult because I don't believe Arkansas is not irrelevant. It's Arkansas. You're in the SEC. You've got Jerry Jones. Like, you got money. That's why I think Arkansas is a better job than Virginia Tech. So I would put Virginia Tech fourth. I would put UCLA fifth. Yeah, boy, that's tough, dude. Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable with that. Penn State one. I think Stanford two. I think Arkansas three. Virginia Tech four. UCLA five. And Oregon State six. Oak State seven.
Hmm.
And if you want to throw in a UAB, UAB is invisible.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably where I would rank it. And the interesting thing about this conversation is if you just look at Penn State, here's my question. I know this seems like a crazy question. Can you improve from where you were with James Franklin? Man, I don't know about that, bro. You were, what, 3 weeks ago? We were in double overtime against Oregon. And what if they had won that game?
He'd still be coaching at Penn State.
But would they be? Wouldn't they be the second best team in the country? Right? When they be ranked ahead of Miami? And I what is it? I think it's Ohio State, Miami. Where is my graphic? There it is. Wouldn't it be Ohio State, Penn State, Indiana, Miami at that point? I would have to think so.
I mean, I would think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, not only did you not win that game, you lost the Oregon game. You've lost to two dogs after that. And now James Franklin's gone. And the athletic director is talking about how James Franklin's record against ranked opponents played a huge role in firing him. But honest to God, honest question. You hire Matt Rule. Have you improved on James Franklin? And I think if the only guy you can hire is Ohio State, right? If you hire Kirk Cignetti, right? He is. What has Kirk Cignetti done at Indiana? I think it is the Rembrandt of our generation. I don't remember a turnaround like this, and I understand it's the portal era, so that's different, and the NIL era, that's different. Bro, I do not remember a resurrection of a program like this in my lifetime. Indiana is not a football school. Well, check that. It is now. And that's because Ohio State went there and they're absolutely breaking people's bones. It hurts to play Indiana, and they're legitimately good. Mendoza is, I think, one of the top quarterbacks in the country. So if you hire Kirk Cignetti, is that an improvement on James Franklin? I would think so.
I mean, he just beat Oregon, so clearly.
I would think so. If you hire Matt Rule, is that an improvement on James Franklin? I don't know, because Matt Rule hasn't beaten a bunch of top 25 dudes either.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to factually say that Matt Rule is an improvement on James Franklin. You just
I would agree.
And
I would agree.
And I think that Matt Rule's argument is hey, it takes me 3 years to really get going, right? And maybe that timeline's quickened with the resources at Penn State in the portal, obviously, and the guys he's already recruiting and all of that. So maybe it's 2 years, to really get back to where you were under Matt Rule. But I think that Matt Rule certainly has risks. I think that you could do a lot worse than Matt Rule, certainly. But it's just, kind of like I was saying yesterday. He's the sexy pick right now, but I just don't think that's you're telling me you fired James Franklin to hire Matt Rule? I mean, that's, even with this slide, even with the record against top competition, it just feels a little underwhelming for me, and I think that the problem is that, much like Penn State being the best available job, Matt Rule is the best available candidate right now, or publicly known available candidate. And he's not really even technically available. So, I think that's the hard part is like, where do you go? Who do you go and chase? What's the name? If we ask the brass at Penn State who they really want right now, if they could have anybody, who would they say? I mean, are they
Kirk Cignetti?
Yeah, I mean, are they Kurt Cignetti? Probably. Yeah, that's probably who they would want. He understands the Big-10, clearly knows how to build a program, knows how to win a big game, as he's just proved. Like, I just think there's a lot there. So, but I don't think if you're Cignetti that you're necessarily interested in leaving Indiana with what you've already got going. Why would you leave when you have just as much access as Penn State does, and all you got to do is win football games? I mean, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So that to me, and by the way, you can resurrect a program and have that on your resume. People aren't going to forget about that. People will always remember if you went out and win a natty at Indiana on the football field. People aren't going to forget about that for a long time. So that to me is the really hard part. I just don't know where you go candidate wise for this job.
Yeah, and I think the fact that Mark Cuban now is supporting Indiana football with millions and millions of dollars makes a difference. I think the fact that they don't have pedophilia in their history makes a difference. In all seriousness, I cannot see a reason Kirk Cignetti would leave Indiana to go to Penn State.
Yeah.
And I know I've said that 100 times this week, it feels like already. I can't see that. Matt Rule's the guy. Like, he is the right fit. He is the right guy. It makes all the difference in the world, because you can't win it at Nebraska the way you can win at Penn State. But I just think if you're Penn State, I would be very cautious here, because I don't think it's a given that you're going to improve on James Franklin. And I know he didn't win the biggest games, and I know he didn't out Paterno. But James Franklin won a lot of games. And if you were hiring Sark, Saban, Kirby, okay, I get it. Fire James Franklin. So my guess is they've had conversations with somebody.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense that you would fire James Franklin in the middle of the season. And I still think that matters. They fired James Franklin. They tarmacked his ass,
Well, but
right?
again,
Like,
it's the same thing. The middle of the season, your season's over, dude. Like what? Okay, cool. You want emotional, you want an emotional victory or like a warm and fuzzy for letting him finish the season. What's the point? You're wasting your time. I
yeah.
mean, that's the reality of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's very interesting. And I think when you look at the money that Kirk Cignetti's making, they gave him a massive contract extension after one season. Um, I mean, I think it's going to be really tough for them to improve on James Franklin.
Yeah.
As crazy as that is, but then when I look at where does the Penn State job rank in the Big Ten, yeah, I actually think it's a better job than Michigan. It's not Ohio State right now. It's not Indiana. It's not USC. But I think, as I said, and I know that you guys all lost your colons over it yesterday on the show. I think Penn State. I think it's a better job than Michigan. I think I more have come around to what you were saying yesterday about the fact that Penn State's just not in a good location. And the fact that Penn State left Nike for Adidas, I think is a problem. And your argument with half of the fan base yesterday over Eugene, Oregon versus Happy Ending Valley, I think that makes a lot of sense. How much do you think the location of Penn State matters, Jake?
Well, I mean, look, I think that location matters, certainly. I think Penn State is, obviously in an interesting little area there.
Enclave.
Yeah, I think that when your head coach or former head coach now is complaining about how far away the airport is, that's probably not a great look for your program. And I think that the difference is like it's kind of a formula for kids, right? So like locations, obviously, one of the big ingredients, but then you've got Nike versus Adidas versus Under Armour, and if you're not
Yeah.
a Nike school, and you're an Adidas school, that's okay, but it's not great. And then if you're an Under Armour school, it's trash because nobody wants Under Armour shoes. They want Under Armour boxers, and that's about it.
Correct.
So, being an Under Armour school doesn't really help you in recruiting. And, to double down on that, the TV deal situation, depending on what schools you're looking at. I mean, obviously it's not a problem for Penn State or Oregon, but if you're a kid that's if you're a second cut recruit, let's say, and you're considering top end G5 versus being a third stringer at Oregon or Penn State, never playing, that's the hard part. So it's like what do you have to kind of pick your poison there, and that's what I guess that's what life is about. But I just think when you're recruiting, it's nice to be able to say, hey, like, we have Phil Knight. It's Nike. The Nike campus is in
Yeah.
Beaverton, 90 minutes or whatever from campus. We just, there's a lot of like the Eugene being small thing is both a negative and a positive, depending on what you're talking about,
Yes.
right? Like nobody's going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to go and retire to Eugene, Oregon. No one's doing that. But at the same time, because it's small, you can come here, build a nice little community for yourself of friends and stuff on the team. And you guys are all basically just going to hang out together. It's going to be, a really unique experience. So I don't know, man. I really think a lot of these conversations come down to who are you talking to? Where is the kid from? What's the kid looking for?
Yes.
And how can you best fill that role? But what I'm telling you is that, the one thing that Matt Rule, as an example, has over James Franklin by a mile is the ability to sell recruits. I mean, I just for the life of me will never understand how James Franklin could never get a quarterback at Penn State. How can you not get a quarterback at a national championship caliber program? Because we all agree that Penn State is a national championship caliber program that is underachieving, which is why dude got fired. Like
100%.
that's the reality, bro.
100%.
So again, Cignetti's got Fernando Mendoza, Lanning's got Dante Moore, and before that had Bo Nix. You look at Michigan, albeit their just inept, embarrassingly bad talent development right now. They've got Underwood, and again, this is my big complaint. This is my argument against Matt Rule. You've got Dylan Raiola, who is a mediocre talent that you are not developing, that at some points has cost you football games. So I'm just telling you, this formula of, hey, location plus your apparel provider plus your TV deal plus how much playing time you're going to get, that's the formula. So being in the middle of nowhere doesn't really help you.
No, I think it's really interesting because you're not in Columbus, right? You're not in Ann Arbor. You're not close to Detroit. You're not close to, you're just not in an area where you're USC and you're in Los Angeles, or UCLA and you're in Westwood, Hollywood. You're not in Eugene, Oregon, but dude, you might as well be holding hands with Phil Knight every night, right? You don't have an overwhelming way to overcome University Park, and you're not close to Pittsburgh. You quite literally are in the middle of nowhere. You're not close to Philly. You're not close to Pittsburgh. You're not close to Baltimore, right? Like, I mean, you look at where University Park is. Happy Ending Valley is in the middle of nowhere, and I think that matters. And now you've left Nike and you're going to Adidas, which I think is a huge mistake. And it's the UCLA Under Armour mistake all over again. And now UCLA.
How are you not Nike?
UCLA,
that's right, you are.
UCLA leaves Under Armour to go to Jordan Brand, and that deal is absolutely helping them bail out of a financial hole.
Did you guys see the cleats they put out on Twitter? Like, I'm not even trying to be a red ass about it. Did you see the Jordan 4 cleats they put out on Twitter? Like, that's what it lets you do, bro. It lets you take 2 minutes and take a picture from your media department about a product coming out and be like, hey, look at us. That's how easy it is. Last time I checked, nobody was doing that with Adidas cleats, dude. That's not happening.
It's wild. It really, really is wild. And I hope that we'll see. The farther away from Pitt and Philly, the better.
But see, I also think, that's tongue in cheek, obviously. But like, again, because this is all preference based, I'm a big believer in it. Like, if you go to Penn State, you're going to get an East Coast experience, obviously, right? Like, you're going to get, like, yeah, you may not, you're in the middle of nowhere, but you're going to get, hey, let's go to New York City. Hey, let's go to Philly. Like, on our off week, we're going to go to an East Coast destination that's close-ish. That's in the realm, obviously. So I don't know. Does a kid want that? Does a kid care about that? Like, I just,
I think they do. I think they want to get laid in a nightclub. I'm telling you, it's sex.
Jordan 4s.
And I exactly. And I know you guys think I'm crazy. They're 19 to 23-year-olds. They want sex. They want parties. They want, they want hot Indiana girls. They want, and if you're going to go to Penn State and you're not going to win, it's going to be a really tough sales job. It's going to be a really tough sales job. And that's why you better have somebody that's got ties, because Pennsylvania's got phenomenal football talent. I know nobody believes me when I say that, but you look at Pennsylvania, Ohio, you look at New York, New Jersey, you look at the Northeast of this country. It's linemen, both sides. It is linebackers. It is really important players that build cores of football teams. And you look at Penn State, you look at Notre Dame owns the Northeastern hemisphere of this, the Northeast corridor. If you're a lineman in Pennsylvania, you're probably getting calls from just about every major university. So yeah, I think it matters. I do think it matters. King of Thailand, Jake had a great segment, informative, clear, concise breakdown of facts. Monty has to be proud of Jake. Great job.
Wow, man. Thanks, dude. That's, man, I mean, I gotta say, dude, I'm really speechless, dude.
It's an erection.
Wow.
Did you have a great, I didn't, nothing, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just,
You're keeping a buck right now, we ass.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just out here doing a job, you know what I mean?
Two pants. If I were being recruited, number one, playing time and being on TV, and coach putting players in the NFL, 4 money, 5 facilities, 6 location. Well, I think playing time is number one because that's how you get to the NFL. Obviously, the ability to be on TV. If you're going to a P4, you're on TV. And I think the money is 2, and I think the money is 3, and I think after that it's probably, if we get to 4 or 5, it's probably the money. And then if we get to,
it's not the branding deal.
If we get through 6 through 10, I mean, I guess this is where we throw in the money, and then it's facilities, like way down the list behind. I want to start. I want to be on TV, and I want you to pay me. So, yeah. Read that one already. Joey, the rant segment by Jake, top 5 segment from him. Proud Monty. Okay. Dude that abides. Kids definitely prefer Nike. It's known. They want J's, dude. Yeah, you know what? I prefer Nike too. I'm sitting in a room with 100 other pairs of Jordans.
Nah, I prefer Adidas,
What do I have on Jordan 3s today. So, it's known. Khaleesi, what? I don't know what that means.
That's a Game of Thrones reference.
Okay. Pitt better than Philly. Philly is a cesspool. I actually like Philadelphia. Pittsburgh's a good city, though. I don't have a problem.
Because it's garbage.
It's in Happy Ending Valley. No one can hear you scream. True. Very true. The Knuckle Deep boys know how to operate. I probably should. Okay. They want to get laid in a nightclub. 29-minute mark of the program. What I do. Rule only makes sense over Franklin because he's a feel-good story for Penn. It's like hiring Harbaugh at Michigan. Something like that. Big John Buck. Monty, did you hear about Nick Mangold? Yeah. We all got issues. I hope somebody donates a kidney. I retweeted it. Nick Mangold is in need of a kidney. Unfortunately, PSU's quarterback, average ass Aller, leg injury against Northwestern may ultimately have cost you. No, it didn't.
Actually.
In what way, shape, or form did that cost him his? I disagree. What is wrong with you? You one comment in today and you're already insulting people. Like, what are you talking about? You amaze me every day with the shit you just don't know. That's amazing. Amish chicks know how to churn your butter. Already proving Wasikowski. EW, you forgot about Rumspringa. Okay. Gumby, Monty looking like he's auditioning for the next Matrix movie. Also, Sud.
Don't even think about messing with me.
I'm wearing the same quarter zip I've worn like 8 million times.
That's an all black reference.
Yeah, I know. But I've worn this outfit like, oh, hey, baby. I've worn this outfit like multiple times. Okay. Jordan Brand making an entrance in college football. Yes, they are.
Mm-hmm.
Word of advice: spam callers love when all of your answers are potato. Okay. Well, thanks for that. With all the Nike shoes, you think Jake was holding Phil Knight's hand?
No, trust me. Phil Knight hasn't donated any of these shoes, bud.
How many shoes do you think you own right now?
I don't know, 50, 60. Something
Wow,
like that.
so you really cut down.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've cut down over the last probably 2 years. I mean, I still have a lot of them, obviously, but I mean, I don't know. There are more that I could get rid of. I mean, I wear a lot of them, but there are, you know how it is. You know how it is. I try to wear them, but
I try to wear all mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you move into you go from, like I said, thousands of square feet to hundreds of square feet. It's going to cause a crimp in your fashion.
Timothy.
Bro, it has been rough. It has been rough. Yes, you prefer New Balance. Call me not surprised. Brandon Butler, why are we not hearing Golish's name for P4 programs? Because nobody knows who he is. I mean, I think, on some level have to. Kirk Cignetti. Why are we hearing Kirk Cignetti's name for everything? Honest to God, why are we?
Well, I win. Google me.
Why are we hearing his name? Well, because all he's done is win. And if you look at South Florida, I know they're 5-1, and their loss was to Miami, but yeah, they beat Florida. Yeah, they beat Boise State. But I think the Miami loss kind of ended all that. And I think now you go into irrelevance. That's the hard part. FAU, Memphis, UTSA, Navy, UAB, and Rice. That's it. That's the entirety of the reason. And I think it's very difficult to undo that.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to upset Monty. I'm not upset. I don't understand why you must be unhappy. Obviously, I don't know you, but you must be unhappy because all you do every day is insult people. And I fail to understand. I've never understood the guy who likes to create misery so that he can be happy. And I feel like you're one of those guys who you want to make fun of people and you want to insult people. And I don't know if it's because it makes you feel better, or I will never understand. I'll never understand that. It just happens. Monty is looking like a Sith Lord. Do I need to go change my clothes? What? I have, okay. Monty looking like Johnny Cash. I'm not, motherfucker. I'm not. I even have on Levi's khakis today. I mean, honest to God,
Bro put on a black shirt, some khakis, and some J's, and now he's the Matrix Sith Lord and Johnny Cash.
I'm the fucking Johnny Cash over some Johnny Cash ain't got nothing on Levi's khakis.
Damn.
What? You guys are a bunch of haters. Anyway. Darth Monty. Okay. I never get the sneakerhead thing, but to each their own. It's very simple. I was oppressed as a child. That's a lie. I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, and my mom would not let me have Jordans.